I wanted to start with, I think, the big question that probably most people are asking. Why are you on stage with a human rights activist? What does Bitcoin have anything to do with human rights? Isn't it just about investment?
Not for me. I mean, for me, that like Bitcoin changes absolutely everything. And what I'm drawn to the most about it is the ethos, is what it represents, is how the conditions that created it are so rare and so special and so precious, and I don't think there's anything more important in my lifetime to work on, and I don't think there's anything more enabling for people around the world.
We often hear in our community that, yes, I agree. We often hear in our community this kind of mantra that like Bitcoin is for everybody, that it's like non-discriminatory, that it's really kind of opening for many people around the world who are walled off from whether it's transactions, saving, connecting with the world. What is your perspective on this idea that like Bitcoin is for everybody?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm focused on, making sure that I help with. Like whatever I can do, whatever my companies can do to make it accessible to everyone is how I'm going to spend the rest of my life. Like if I were not at Square or Twitter, I'd be working on Bitcoin. If it needed more help than Square and Twitter, I would leave them for Bitcoin. But I think I believe both companies have a role to play, and I think anything that we can do as companies to help also find the right intersection between a corporate narrative and a community open narrative is for the best.
The theme for today is banking the unbanked. As you all know, probably there's billions of people around the world who are either completely unbanked or they're underbanked. Yet the mobile phone is growing at a remarkable pace. So even in countries like Ethiopia and Sudan, you now have 20-25% of the population with a mobile phone. And in the next 5 years, that's going to pass 50%. So we're now in a position where the increase of technology is going to allow more people to come online. And with Bitcoin, it doesn't matter what passport you have or what nationality you are, what ethnicity you are, what you believe in, you can connect to this network. So when we think about banking the unbanked, what's your vision for like what is most important for helping onboard people into this new system?
Well, we don't need the banks anymore. And I mean, there's so much work to do around accessibility. There's so much work to do around education, so that people can own the idea themselves. And I want to thank you, by the way. I appreciate you so much for all the work you do to like take away a bunch of the myths that people have in their head and give a strong case for why Bitcoin can be used by everyone. But you know, it just like we don't need the financial institutions that we have today. Mm-hmm. We have one that is thriving, that is sound, that is owned by the community, that is driven by the community, that has this incredible and amazing consensus that always manages to do the right thing over time. It's noble, and it's so rare and so unique. So anything that we can do to build it and to protect it, we're down to do.
You recently personally launched a new fund with Jay-Z, where you guys dedicated 500 Bitcoin to help the Bitcoin ecosystem in Africa and India. Can you talk a little bit more about the vision for that fund and what you all hope to do over the coming years?
Yeah, I mean, I spent November of 2019 roaming around the continent of Africa. I went to Nigeria, I went to Ethiopia, Ghana, and I saw that the number one problem that entrepreneurs were working on there, and I only met the entrepreneurs, I didn't meet anyone in the government or the media, they're all working on payments, and the most interesting of them were working on Bitcoin. And when I saw the reports of Nigeria considering banning Bitcoin, when I saw the reports of India considering banning Bitcoin, is a reminder that we could use a lot more help developing around the world. Mm-hmm. Finding developers on the continent of Africa, enabling them to do their work without having to think about taking another job is important. So talking to Jay about it, Jay loves Bitcoin. He goes very deep on what he loves. He believes in it. And he also believes in this idea of making sure that if we're going to create a money for the world, it has to be developed around the world. And anywhere there are gaps, we should try to fill. So right now, we're trying to find the right board for it. It's going to be a completely separate entity. I have no control or say or direction over it. Once we find that board, they'll hire a lead, and they'll start making grants denominated in Bitcoin.
So Jay might have 99 problems, but being his own bank won't be one, huh?
He's more than a bank.
How let's speak a little more about that. Nigeria is a country of more than 200 million people. They have a 15% inflation rate. They are, in many ways, closed off from the outside world in terms of fintech payments.